Good afternoon. Welcome all of you to our study session this afternoon, Tuesday, November 10th, 2020. And let's see, let's call roll, please.
Mayor Mangarelli,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Orr,
Here.
Councilman Blair, Councilman Good,
Here.
Councilman Barusing,
Here.
Councilwoman Scholl, and Councilman Sischka.
Here.
All are present.
We have one very important item on our study session today. So let's proceed with item 3A, please.
Discussion regarding technology updates and body-worn camera project for the Prescott Police Department.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today and hear what we have to say, and I'll try to get this going so that I can concentrate. But we're excited to be here today just to talk with you about the culmination of some research and some testing and evaluation that we've done on a project that will come before you in voting session in just a little bit. But wanted to give you just a little bit of background and offer you the opportunity to ask us any questions that you might have. And if I provide too much information, just say, hey, knock it off, we're good. If you have other questions that I can't answer, I also have Lieutenant Kassoon, who was our lead on this project, along with our other lieutenants, has done just an amazing amount of work. And then also Kevin Watson, who is with Axon, who is our chosen vendor. So just a little bit about how we got here. This project was certainly not something that we foresaw, in this budget year or even in budget years 3 to 4 years out. We had tested body cams in the past and had discussed them and just didn't, on our priorities, we weren't sure that this was something that we wanted to move forward with anytime soon. However, with the goings-on of 2020 in general, we realized that it was probably a good opportunity for us just to take a second look and reevaluate the role that body cameras might play at our police department. In this fiscal year, we did already have some technology upgrades that we were going to be working with IT and finance on. So that included new fleet cameras in all of our patrol cars, and then also upgraded cameras and audio capabilities within our interview rooms at our police department. So we were already kind of working on that. And what we did is we just reevaluated that package in total and took a look at ways that maybe we could economize some of those things and looked at whether or not there was an opportunity for bringing this forward mid-budget year, just based on the importance and really the feelings around our community about the importance of this. Through our community engagement and our citizen academies, we're frequently asked about, do we have body cameras? If yes, how do we feel they fit in? And if not, why? And for the most part, actually, we've never heard anybody say, oh, you shouldn't have them. The community is really supportive of this, but we haven't had that giant push that's come from the community, but we know that they're supportive of it. So we did some testing and evaluation, and we researched 3 specific vendors. And in testing the products and in really researching what the products offered and the vendors were able to offer us, we determined that Axon was going to be our best bet. So I want to walk you through a little bit about what the contract entails and a little bit about what our capabilities will be as we move forward with this contract if you're approving it today. And just a little bit about how this contract was built. Let's see. Oops. So, a la carte, we have actually 76 body cameras, fleet cameras in our patrol vehicles, and 4 interview rooms, as well as some training built in there. And prior to the packaging of this contract, we were looking at almost $1 million with $955,000 to put those things into place. Purchasing all 3 of these solutions under one contract really offers us some savings. The contract is written for a 5-year period, and we pay every year on that contract. So Axon is one of the big players. I'm sure you've heard of Axon through your just general comings and goings, and Axon was known as Taser. They started out as Taser. We do carry Tasers, the electric not less than lethal devices. And TASER was purchased by Axon, and Axon has really created this ecosystem, is what they call it, for all of these products and the technology advancements. And really, when we look at the country, we see that there are different companies that focus in different regions of the nation, and Axon is an Arizona-based company, and they really have a tremendous share of the law enforcement customers here in Arizona, and they're very, very responsive based on that proximity to all of us. So we're joining a great group of folks. And what I just want to talk to you about too is looking at that list, you'll see Yavapai County Sheriff's Office and Yavapai County Attorney's Office. One of the great things about this is it will have the ability to share our evidence digitally with prosecutors, both at the County Attorney's Office as well as the City Prosecutor's Office. So I'm going to pass this around just in case you want to see it. This is the body camera. This is Axon Body 3. You can kind of see it and take a look at what it looks like. And then I'll walk you through some of the features that we'll have with this body camera. So it has something called real-time awareness, allowing us the ability to live stream people's body cameras if we need to. And we're going to have to be very strategic in how we build our policies so that we're not just sitting at our desk wondering what people are doing, turning on cameras and catching them at an awkward moment. But really what that will allow us to do is with some of the technology that Axon does have, such as gunshot awareness, it will alert supervisors and commanders if it senses a gunshot, and it will turn on all the cameras within a certain proximity of that officer's body cam, and we can instantly hop on a computer and live stream and really see what we have going on. And the benefit to our officers is just safety. In those moments, they're not able to frequently get on the radio and really explain what's going on. Gives us some real-time intelligence to help us get them the help that they need and respond more appropriately. One of the things that we've included in this contract, as I spoke about, was the signal sidearm. So it's just a little sensor that will go on the holsters of our guns. Anytime a firearm is drawn, it will turn on the body cams as well as other body cams in the area and turn them to record. So kind of alleviates the question of, oh, I didn't have time to turn on my body cam. Gives the officers a little bit of peace of mind in that area as well. So the fleet cameras include dual cameras, so they'll see what is going on in front of the car and then also in the passenger or the prisoner compartment of the car, which our video cameras currently have that ability right now, but these are just going to seamlessly integrate into the ecosystem that will gather up all of our evidence and allow our officers to tag all of their video evidence and audio evidence in one file and allow it to be easily searched and easily sent, encrypted and safely to whoever needs to have it. Our interview rooms have much the same capability. And one of the really neat things that I talked about earlier is just our ability to share. Axon is working on also some dictation software that will make it much easier for people to transcribe interviews. Right now, when we bring a suspect into their interview room, and if we have them in there for hours on end doing interviews, somebody has to sit and transcribe that. So on the horizon, there will be some software that will be included in this ecosystem that will allow them to do that a little bit easier. So today what we don't have any body-worn cameras. We do have fleet dash cameras, but not with Axon. They are aging. And so what we're finding is trouble getting parts. IT is struggling not with their knowledge, but just their ability to support our needs with those fleet cameras. Our interview rooms are crashing, which is why we built that into our budget this year. And then digital evidence is managed with an on-site server. So it makes digitally sharing evidence really, really difficult. We have to burn a CD or a DVD and take it over in person. Those files are way too big to send electronically, so it creates a lot of work. Axon offers us a cloud-based solution that will allow it to be CJIS compliant, so it's all encrypted and secure. This contract includes unlimited storage, which is a big deal. When we first looked at body cams, the concern was really how do we store things and how long do we keep everything, and just a lot of questions. And this helps alleviate a lot of those questions, that the data can be stored for as long as we need it to be, and we don't have to worry about running out of room or paying for more storage as we go. The other thing with this contract is that our body cams are going to be refreshed at month 30. So I told you that this was a 5-year contract. And if there is a body cam 4, then Axon will work to replace our body cam 3s with that latest product. If body cam 4 is not out at that time, they will refresh as needed with refurbished or new body cam 3s. So we're always going to stay ahead of that curve with the technology, really put us at the forefront of projects like this. So I spoke with you about 76 officers having body cams, so that's going to equip all of our patrol officers, our detectives, our community service officers, our school resource officer. So any of our uniformed officers that have contact with the public, and our motor officers as well, will get these body cams. And if they lose one, run over one, Axon says so long as we can scoop some parts into a box, they will replace that body cam, so we don't have to worry about that either. Not that we're clumsy with technology, but sometimes stuff happens. I taught you about live streaming, and then secure and instantaneous evidence sharing, again, is just really something that's important. Finally, Axon provides us with training, so they're going to come on site. We had been really concerned about how do we implement a project this large. This is a massive upgrade for us, a massive change in the way that we're doing things, and really a giant step forward in keeping our officers safe and holding ourselves accountable. But how do we do that, and how do we manage that? This contract includes a project manager, which is really going to be helpful. They will basically implement everything for us, work with IT to get everything set up, and then come in and offer us training from the top down, get us all squared away and off and running. So that's it in a nutshell. The contract, as I told you, is for a total of $895,000, $280 over the course of 5 years, and the initial cost is going to be $204,000 and $237.20. We did not budget for this, however, in working with finance and in working with our city manager, we will work to reappropriate the money from the appropriate places in the budget if the contract is approved. I'm happy to answer any questions or
Well,
kick
thank
off
you,
to
Deputy
Corey.
Chief.
Yeah.
Great presentation. Thanks for bringing us some good news today. It's always good to have some good news for the community and for you guys to keep you safe and our community safer. There's a high level of trust in our community with you guys, and thank you for what you guys do to earn that trust every day. This will only enhance that trust, and I'm very proud of our PD locally and proud of our community for how they support you guys, which is not true across the country, unfortunately. So comprehensive program. It's great. I didn't realize coming in here that you're going to be talking about interview rooms and vehicles, and that's really cool, and especially integrating with Yavapai County. That's going to be really helpful. So good job. Councilman Sischka.
Thanks, Mayor. Hey, Chief, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are the body cameras worn?
They're going to be worn pretty much center of the officer's exterior vest, or if they're wearing a uniform with an interior vest, they're going to clip it to their shirt right about chest level.
Okay. And when I see these videos shown on news programs, I can't tell what's happening. I mean, hopefully you can, but it looks like a bunch of jumble, and there's no really specific focal point for the camera. Can you explain how that all works into evidence?
So the goal is for that camera to record the situation from the perspective of the officer as best as we're able. That video evidence will get downloaded into a cloud, and it will sort of knit up with the other evidence that's available from the fleet camera or any other vehicle or any other officers that are in that area whose videos are tagged under that same incident. So sometimes making heads or tails of the video is difficult, especially if you get somebody who's running or there's a scuffle. So that's why, video cameras certainly support our mission, but they aren't a substitute for officers who are able to write well-written and well-documented reports and articulate and support their actions on any situation.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Other questions, comments from the council? Councilman Good.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I think it's probably time for the community to invest in this protection, not only for your officers, but also for the public's confidence and trust as well. Unfortunately, it just seems that the law enforcement community has to have this kind of backup to be able to support the great job that our officers are doing. Obviously, there's a lot of Arizona law enforcement organizations that are using this. How long has Axon been providing these body cameras to these agencies? How many years?
I'm gonna punt to Kevin. So this is Kevin Watson with Axon, because I don't know the answer to that, Councilman.
Kevin?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and the honorary council members of Prescott. To answer that question, we started building out a body camera in about 2009. So we were taking feedback from the taser cameras, which were cameras mounted on the underside of a taser weapon. And the feedback we were getting is this is incredible footage. This led to a more secure prosecution, backed up corroborated stories, things of that nature. And so we kind of took it to the drawing board. What if we were able to design something where you were able to wear a camera at all times? And the initial iterations were really clunky. You had to wear like a computer on your belt and it wired up to your head. But that really was the genesis of why we started doing it. Now, to answer the question of like when specific agencies started adopting the technology, I don't know the exact dates of like when contracts started with cities, but Lake Havasu PD was one of the initial development partners back in the early 2000s of those body cameras. So if you really wanted to point to a specific agency, they were one of our earliest development partner agencies.
Deputy Chief, have you contacted these long-term users to find out what benefits and also what challenges they've experienced over time?
We have, Councilman. We've just been in contact with as many people as we can reach out to, and different opportunities for us to meet with them, whether it's at a class or calling them to do our research. And we've followed them, their highs and lows. And one of the really good things about embarking on this project now is that a lot of the bugs have been ironed out. So we're not getting that initial model. A lot of the questions have been answered in terms of policy and procedure and maintenance. So yes, absolutely, we've been in contact with them, and the agencies that use them are very happy with them.
Well, clearly there's initial acquisition cost, training cost, data storage, recovery, but there would seem to be a lot of savings potentially involved. If you've already got aging interview room audio, if you've got aging dash cams, clearly they're not going to have to be replaced or repaired. So that should be some net savings over the period of the contract. Have you calculated that at all?
No, it's really difficult to say because the fleet cameras in particular and the interview room cameras really age out differently depending on use, all sorts of things. So we can't really quantify that, but what we can say is that this contract does offer us the opportunity for a really robust extended warranty. So pretty much anything that we could do to them will be covered, and we're secure in that for the length of this contract.
I know there's been challenges with particular officers not turning on their camera at the time a particular incident occurred. So having this automatic on once the sidearm is drawn, and I'm assuming that the same thing would happen if the taser is employed. Is that correct?
part of our contract is an upgrade to the taser batteries that we currently have. So our current tasers would not work with this system, but we included new batteries that have that Bluetooth capability for all of our tasers that will turn those cameras on.
And how does that activate?
It's Bluetooth based on when they draw it from the holster.
And what happens to your SWAT team members if
Pardon?
they've got if they've got ARs and longer weapons? Do they activate automatically? I imagine a SWAT team member doesn't automatically draw a sidearm every time.
No, that will be on a case-by-case basis. And, you know, some of these things we're going to have to really take a look at our policy and our procedure and figure out what is going to work best for us. When you talk about officers not turning on their body cams, one of the best ways to address that is to have a really solid policy in place for when to do that and then what happens if it doesn't happen. So we're going to work, we have Lexipol, as you might know, as our policy provider and our procedure provider, and really look to them to lean on their policies that are based in state and federal law to help guide us as we put these things in place. The contract with Axon starts on January 1, so it's really convenient. So we have a little bit to get ourselves pushed in the right direction and make sure that we have everything covered.
Well, I know you've been working on this for quite a while because I've asked you about it, and it seems like Axon has the most solid reputation and continuing to upgrade their technical abilities. So I think it's necessary, and it's an important addition to the police. Prescott Police Department's capabilities and for the public's confidence in your service. So that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Blair.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I suppose this has been one of my bugaboos for a long time in the protection of our officers, and I understand in the past kind of the resistance of wanting to have them because of the officers not wanting to be tracked in every single thing that they do, and I get that. But with the lack and the total disrespect of our police officers across the country, I think we've come to a time where it protects the officer rather than hindering the officer. One of the drawbacks with the city manager in my conversation, as well as with the chief, was the fact that we were going to have to hire employees to manage the system, you know, as far as the software and the loading and the downloading. It seems to me within this contract that Axiom is taking care of all that, so there is no additional employees. Is that correct?
Well, one of the things, and I should back up, and that's a really good question. You know, with this not being budgeted, we genuinely appreciate the city manager's support and IT support in pushing. This is a big project, and it's a big number. And he was very, very supportive of our desire to bring this forward to you, even though it's mid-budget and something that we really didn't anticipate. And so one of the deals that we struck with him was that we would take the next 6 months to really evaluate what our needs were going to be in that area. So to answer your question, at first, we believe that we can handle it with the resources that we have in-house just by moving some responsibilities around. But we're going to take the first 6 months of the fiscal year, or the calendar year, so from January to the time we work on building our budget, to really evaluate our needs and really assess. Some agencies that we spoke with said, we've been inundated with public record requests. We can't keep up. We need 2 full-time people. Others have said, no, we manage it just fine with what we have. So it's really hard to tell what the response is going to be and what the demands are going to be. So we're going to evaluate that for some time and see where we land.
And that's the right way to do it, and I appreciate that comment. And the fact of the matter is there's no sense in having, you know, dashboard cameras or backseat cameras or interview cameras or body cameras if they're not managed properly. And that's a good way to evaluate the system to see if we can. If we certainly need a part-time employee or full-time, I'm sure the city manager will have his wallet out for that.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Bonnie, great job. Thank you very much. I had the opportunity to be called for jury duty back when Judge Markham was still with us, and it was a case of a DUI, and happened through the Dells, and one of our officers stopped, and as it went on, it kind of became a he said, she said, but it was the dash cam, it was the video that absolutely held our officer, held his word. And so it really proved that he was saying the right thing and had done the right thing. And so I think this is wonderful for our officers. And I'm just happy that you all want to participate in this, so thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. And, as we move forward with this, and I look at Officer Davis and the team that we have, we are so incredibly proud of the work our officers do. And, our goal is to just continue to keep them safe and continue to support them as they do the job that's just changing so frequently. And we have such a good relationship with our community that we're confident that this tool is going to be what's best for our officers and for our community. And we're excited to see where this goes.
Good job.
Other questions, comments from the council? Public comment?
No, Mayor.
All right, great job, Deputy Chief. Thank you so much.
Very much.
This meeting is adjourned.